Note that we set exams twice in a semester, where we have end of semester exams and mid semester exams. So when you write and inform the university, if you are lacking some of the knowledge, you can be informed so that you are not left behind. The number of you that I've seen here, we want to finish all of us at the same time. So we want to finish full of energy. And that can only happen if the rules and regulations that are with us are followed. In the governing body, which I believe Madam Betsy will be talking to us shortly, there is a council of students. And this is also pointed out in the rules and regulation, that for you to join this council, you must be doing very well, especially academically. So let's make sure that before we engage in such participation, it does not take you aback as a student, but it equips you the more. Some of the offenses that come if we don't follow some of these rules and regulation are like cause of damage of to the university or even to the community at large. For example, unauthorized disclosure of confidential information. It could be information of your colleague or your peer or your student that you are learning with, or it could be confidential information meant only for you and you let it out. Also, when we are making use of freedom of speech, we may unnecessarily, in a wrong taste, condemn the university. That is against the rules and regulations that are set, because if you use information that you have not checked properly, it may actually mess the image of the university. While we are learning, of which I want to commend all of you, since I spoke, I've not seen any interruption. When we are learning, actually we think interruption only is when we are together physically. Interruption also can come in a virtual platform. For example, now here, when we are all here, we allow whoever is speaking to unmute and the rest remain muted to avoid any unnecessary distraction. Violence, bullying, language that is not good can come if we come to a virtual classroom like this, for example, and maybe we are not in our normal sense, like drunkenness, name it. We may not know this, we may think it is a virtual platform, but if you are not in control of yourself, it may cause unacceptable behavior. So let's be cautious of that and ensure that anytime we are engaging in this virtual platform, we are just in our normal self, and all that we direct ourselves to is the learning that we are expected to engage in. We avoid any corruptive deals as long as you have the name of the Open University of Kenya with you, whether you are with us or outside our perimeters. We expect you not to engage in any corruptive deals or any false information. Other things is just failing to comply with the disciplinary penalties that may come your way. So we need to be careful with that. In case you get yourself into an unfortunate situation where disciplinary sorry, pardon me, where disciplinary action is taken against you, it usually follows a channel where the final person is the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Kenya after discussion with many other bodies. There is a committee, name it. So I will encourage that you read this so that you get to know the consequences. Depending on the offense that you have found yourself in, you may get warning. I believe we know this. So please, what I'm encouraging you, why are we bringing this to you, is to just say that once we have come to this platform of the Open University of Kenya, let's up the values of the Open University, because that is what is going to make us, that is what is going to be the culture of the Open University of Kenya. No noise, no unruly behavior. Criminal offenses is not part of the values that we as a university really want to see get into our system once we are done with the Open University of Kenya. Please, there is support for students. We may look like we are on a virtual platform, but I want to assure you, Madam Betsy will take us through that you shall be someone who has been developed both virtually, both both physically and also emotionally, spiritually, name it, because we have many activities that we undertake here that can make you a whole person. Beyond that, even professionally, you can also grow professionally, because within the Open University of Kenya, we have professional courses which you can double up and do the professional courses. Quickly then is to just say, congratulations, you've made the right choice. The sky is no limit for you. We are anxious and enthusiastic to meet a number of you in class, engage, and even learn more and speak more about this virtual university that is in Kenya. And aside from that, then we can get into a space where we can make the world something different from what we see now. Thank you and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Daktari. The reactions are there. You can see them. And our students are getting better and better as we go on. Initially, I was seeing claps. Today, right now, we have flowers, we have the love, we have even the flag of Kenya and all that, showing that already we have begun improving and learning something. There's something we have a take home. So thank you so much for that. The next session we will be taken through by Madam Betsy Wanjala, who is our Dean of Students, and she'll talk to us about the health, wellness, and support mechanisms, so that as we grow academically, we grow socially, we grow in all aspects of this life, because we are normal human beings that need to grow in all spheres. So, Madam Betsy, welcome. Madam Betsy? Is she in? I had seen her, but Madam Betsy, please unmute and talk to us. Am I being heard? My people here have decided to speak.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's only that we muted ourselves just for
all of us. Okay. So
we're
what
all
do we
muted
do to Betsy?
Just to listen to you.
Betsy, Madam Betsy is the one I want. Oh, we have muted her also. My students are using sign language. Director, you can help me check with Madam Betsy.
Yes, she can unmute herself, I think. She's a co-host.
Okay. Madam Betsy?
Yes, she can unmute herself.
Okay, thank you so much, Daktari. I was actually writing on the wall that I've been muted and I cannot unmute myself. So asante sana, Dr. Ongaro, for utilizing your skill to allow me to address ourselves. So, Daktari, thank you so much. And I'm requesting that I just address this already sharing in the interest of time. So
that's okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. So our fellow students, welcome again. I think I had introduced myself. So as Daktari has said, I'm just going to share about health, wellness, and the support mechanisms that the university has put in place to ensure the holistic growth and development of our students. So our focal points or areas this evening are going to be only 4. The first one is that we understand the role of the Dean of Students section for protocol purposes, so that we know how do we engage and relate to the Dean of Students office, and how the Dean of Students section is relating to other counterparts or other department sections such as deans of schools, so that you understand how that staff relationship is working. Then we would look at health and wellness and how the importance of these two as far as career and personal development and growth are concerned. Then number 4, we are going to look at the support mechanisms that the university has put in place to support healthy, holistic development and growth. And then finally, we shall discuss the role of students in this process. What does the Office of the Dean expect all of us for this to be achieved? So let's begin with the role of the Dean of Students section and its role in the university. So we are saying the Dean of Students office is the primary student support and welfare. So we can underscore support and welfare unit in the university. So we are not academic, but we are in academic for career support. In a virtual environment like the one we have at the Open University of Kenya, our role is to design student-centered activities together with other sections such as the DVCAA and then the school deans. Activities that virtually support personal, academic, and professional growth and development in a virtually dynamic way. We have already been told that we are 100% online, but we shall see how that can be conducted online and still impact and support our lives. Now, we also create use specific activities to create a vibrant sense of community, which facilitates horizontal interaction of our students, so that at the end of the day, our students are not just interacting within their own departments and within their own school, but they also cut across and interact with the students in other schools. So somebody is likely to ask why this is very important. We are saying it is important because peer connections act as a first line of emotional support, social interaction, which then reduces stress, anxiety, and burnout. The second one is that when you look at the 21st century skills and levels of competence, we are saying we have come out of traditional ways where somebody can say, I am doing an MBA, so I have nothing to do with ICT. I am doing PhD in this area in strategic management, so I have nothing to do with the PhD in AI. All these skills are now interconnected. So it means that the wise man is one now who moves along with those who are well versed in those areas, so that we grow as far as our academic or career pursuits are concerned. And at the same time, we also understand other areas, because all these areas are in the corporate world, and the corporate world these days requires that at least we are multi-skilled, that even if you are a manager, at least you need some AI skills. So that is the reason why at the Dean of Students section has put activities in place to ensure that that kind of interaction takes place. Now, we are also saying students learn better through peer interaction, discussion, and collaboration. And I think the director has, quality assurance has spoken on that. Group study, peer feedback, and academic networks deepen understanding, because we are not measured according to what our transcripts say. We are measured according to how we translate this transcript into something that the people we interact with in our world of work can understand, so that they can also grow. Now, next is that it will expose our students to diverse perspectives therefore strengthening critical thinking and problem solving. And we know that again in the 21st century, those are now number one skill that is required of us, because critical thinking is the one that leads to creativity and innovativeness. And we know that creativity and innovativeness has become an SDG goal. And that is why you have seen that even in Kenya, we are being supported by World Bank to ensure that every child in this country at least can, whether it is standard 8, they can solve the simplest of problems that our communities have, because communities are not going to grow. We are not even going to grow at institutional level if we are not able to identify and then respond to the problems that we have by way of offering solutions. So that is why at the Open University of Kenya, we are encouraging that. How are we relating to the deans of schools? Now, we partner with your deans, that is the deans of schools, to address school-specific student concerns, especially in teaching, learning, mentorship, and workload issues. We jointly handle student discipline cases. Dr. Sang has been referring to the Dean of Students all the time. The Dean of Students all over, they identify the kind of disciplinary problems that the students have, not so that the students are punished, but so that the students can be counseled and guided so that they are able to walk in the right path and be valuable members of not just the university, but also the societies within which they live and also themselves. So the dean does not punish, but the dean's section guides and counsels so that we remain within those rules and regulations that Daktari has just talked about. We monitor, and for us being on the platform, you will see, you will observe and know that you will notice that we are on every platform, and we are on those platforms for monitoring purposes to ensure that we are helping our students, because we are saying these days there are so many laws that are even national in nature that can put you as a student in trouble if we do not even interact on those platforms, use the right communication skills. We can damage our own reputations, damage the reputation of the university, and then put roadblocks on our path of progress. So we monitor for support. We also collaborate on student leadership activities within schools, academic advising support, and enhancement of the overall student experience so that our students enjoy that time they will interact with us at the university. So next, let's look at health, wellness, and support mechanisms. So we'll start with health and wellness. So as far as health and wellness are concerned, we are saying we need to know as human beings that we are man, we are spirit, we are soul, we are body, we are mind, therefore making us as human beings psychologically vulnerable. Research says that it is when these 4 dimensions develop concurrently and remain balanced through the stages of human growth that as individuals we can attain holiness, enabling us to function harmoniously and create an environment in which nature itself and society can flourish, therefore making the world a better place where those ourselves and those around us can actually achieve our goals. It is not trees and animals that bring problems like diseases and everything. It is human beings. And it is because of those 4 dimensions. When we talk about health and wellness, health and wellness recognize the fact that the spirit, soul, body, and mind is interconnected, which forms our moral and intellectual self. Now, if you look at moral, you will actually discover that all the laws and regulations that Daktari has been talking about, whether they are at institutional level or national level, law moderates human conduct, right? Therefore, making us morally upright people. And society will always judge us as far as how we use our intellect to be morally upright. And when we are morally upright, that is when we become our brother's keeper. And when we become our brother's keeper, that is when we create that harmonious environment where even us ourselves can grow, can develop, and achieve our goals. Now, based on this theory, therefore, student well-being at the Open University of Kenya is a core institutional priority, and the university has put the following mechanisms in place to achieve holistic growth and development of our students. So when we talk about growth, the activities that are supposed to help us grow, growth is quantitative in nature, something we can see and measure. Like you have reduced weight. Why? You have chubby cheeks. Why? You are sad. Why? There are things that we can measure. There are things that we can see, right? So a lot of the mechanisms we have put in place is for physical wellness. Because when we talk about mental health, it is not that somebody is insane, right? It is mental well-being, it is physical well-being, it is financial well-being, it is societal well-being. All those things help us to be healthy and mentally sound. You can only be mentally sound if you are physically healthy, if you are interacting with other people in a healthy way, if you are pursuing your goals within the timelines that you are supposed to achieve them. And although that is why Daktari was telling us that it is our prayer that we walk together. Because if we don't walk, although we are self-paced, we are saying, if somebody runs ahead of you like Usain Bolt and leaves you behind, it is actually demotivating. So some of these mechanisms is to ensure that we are able to cope with our own walk. You are not looking at the person who is running. How do you do that? You are not looking at the person left. How do you do that? How do you remain happy along the way? We have been told education is a journey. And each human being, you have your own journey depending on your goal. Another person's goal is not your goal. So we are supposed to, to look at our own goals, missions, and the resources that we have, and then we walk according to that to remain well and healthy. Otherwise, negative competition affects us mentally. So let's look at these mechanisms. We are saying, number one, we offer student welfare support. Now, in order to address students' personal, social, and academic concerns, the section provides one, career guidance, we do. And then number two, we have a counseling department, which has an expert who supports our students who are struggling either socially, financially, or any other way that is personal in nature. We have mentorship programs, and then we have psychosocial support. At times, we can refer somebody to experts who are not necessarily academic in nature. So we have mentorship and wellness programs which we schedule, and then during those schedules, we offer information on these issues that we have talked about in detail, so that now that information can be used by students to improve in areas they feel they are feeling sort of overwhelmed. We also have mental health programs, and many cases we usually invite experts from outside again to help our students understand the sources of wellness and the coping mechanisms. Number two, we have student engagement and development programs. Under this mechanism, we are saying we coordinate student activities through clubs, societies, and leadership development. All these clubs and societies have seasoned patrons. Now, we are going to differentiate clubs and societies so that we know as postgraduate students, how do we fit in? So let's start with clubs. Clubs at Open University of Kenya are designed to support co-curricular engagement through practical and recreational activities to enhance talent, wellness, and teamwork. And at this level, I think we require number 1, 2, 3, all of them, right? We have various talents. Some of these talents may not be recreational in nature. They may actually be academic in nature, right? So these clubs have been designed in such a way that they enhance that academic talent that you have. And then teamwork, because we are saying at this level, postgraduate, we require a lot of teamwork skills, and teamwork is now a 21st century skill. Now, these are interest driven, and therefore you joined because of your passion, right? Examples, the kind of clubs that are already operational are one, faith-based clubs. We have Christian Union, we have SDA, we have Catholic school associations, we have Muslim school associations, and all of them have interim officials. They are students who are leading them, and we are supporting that kind of leadership and the activities. Two, we have esports, which already has a patron, and recreation. Now, under sports, the one that is already on the ground is chess, and we have given students who understand martial arts to also come forth and guide us in martial arts. Fitness is very, very important when it comes to health and wellness. And then in the near future, we already actually have a stadium where the headquarters are. There are students who have been advocating for, they actually want athletics and football so that they come up with days when they can compete at school level, right? So that is in the pipeline. We shall be requesting the management to ratify that. And if it does, then we are saying, join us and come and support. Three, we have creative and performing arts, where we have choir and music, which is very vibrant. We also have drama. The students themselves have introduced film, photography, and journalism, and they are advocating for fashion and modeling so that they are able to join other universities in such a competitions where you have Mr. Daystar, Mr. Strathmore. We also now went next time to have Mr. and Miss Open University as models in the education space. We also have social and lifestyle, where we have now wellness and mental health issues, where students interact and share information as far as wellness and mental health is concerned. We have had postgraduate students, especially MBA students coming forward, and then volunteering to support wellness and mental health club in order to support other students who may be struggling with loneliness, who may be struggling with information overload that affects their academic progress. And we are going to introduce travel and adventure. So now let's go to societies. We are saying at Open University of Kenya, societies have been designed to promote intellectual, professional, cultural, or advocacy interests. So we have aligned these societies with academic, professional, and industry expectations and career pathways in order to help us, especially postgraduate students, contribute not only to their holistic development and civic engagement, but also to help them improve on their careers, enhance their levels of skills and competence, especially postgraduate. And these are the societies that we have. Number one, we have innovation and green technology, which is a research to commercialization research process, where we expect students to practically identify industry problems and then innovate a solution to respond to those problems. The university has a partnership with a firm called TechFinid that helps our students to access funding and then technical support after they have developed a prototype. They pitch to this firm, and then the firm picks it from there to support them turn a prototype into a commercializable product. If the students have reached the commercialization level, then we are saying they advise the students on the process that they have to go through for that product to enter the market, and then it starts the growth path. Then we have research and knowledge management, which has Professor Pata as the patron, and we are saying this one is going to help our students even learn what our quality assurance director was talking about. How do we start moving away from just mere, or let's say general, I'm not using the word mere, general research processes, then we start getting into impact research through capstone project. So those who join that kind of society, it means that they are going to be practically guided, and then that now enhances their research skills so that we move from what is purely academic into R2C, and then also to turn your capstone into something that is commercializable. When that happens, it is that research and knowledge management that is going to feed the innovation and green technology with now students who are ready to practically commercialize their capstones. Number C, cultural competence, diplomacy, and community engagement. Research already shows that the global world, because of interconnectedness, is looking for professionals who are culturally competent. They are diplomatic and tactful in their approach, even as leaders, because you are going to work with people from other cultures and what have you, and then also support their communities. We have Dr. Cavale, I don't know if he's within, who is now the patron of that club, and therefore those in that club are going to be skilled in those areas. And because we are postgraduate students, it will help us enhance our cultural competency skills. How can you be diplomatic when it comes to negotiations and what have you? And how do you use your knowledge and skills as a postgraduate student to now go back into your house, go back at home to see how you can impact our communities? When I was growing up, the posts of schools, secondary schools, they used to write which secondary school education is light. We have actually forgotten that education, people who are blessed with studying up to the level where we are opinion leaders in society. The reason why we have society confused, young people confused, is those ahead of us have failed to take that knowledge back into the community. And that society is going to ensure that we develop those skills, because they are skills you cannot get in class. Those in class are already programmed. It is curriculum. So we are saying at Open University, we are enhancing those skills through our societies, through our clubs, and then we have a host of professional courses. And some of these courses are life skills and then soft skills, because we are saying we have already been advised by development partners that we are very good when it comes to academics, but we are very weak when it comes to life skills. Like, for instance, if you lose your job today, where do you land? Do you have the requisite life skills to say life is like that and you can still achieve your goal, given the specific skills that life skills offers? What about life soft skills? How do you interact with other people? Are we able to interact with other people in such a way that we create an environment within which they can achieve their goals, rather than inward looking? It is me who wants to use this environment to grow. What about that person who may not necessarily have the kind of skills that we have? Then we have e-career development, and then we have digital literacy. Those are the societies that we have now. And in future, we have said that we are introducing media and communications, and then climate smart agriculture. Now, the quality assurance has requested that I say something about innovation, because innovation, the Open University of Kenya, we are innovative in nature, and not just innovative in the way that we interact with the students in the LMS. But to create a global child, we are also using innovative and creative and innovative skills to ensure that our students come up with concrete solutions. And I think it is one of the strongest societies in the university as we speak. Now, We have the following innovations by our students, which have already been commercialized. One, we have Voters Wall, which is an electronic voting system. And as we speak, I think Open University has been approached by IEBC that Open University goes to help IEBC to run an election. It is a student innovation, the student from the School of Science, Cybersecurity, who developed that kind of innovation, and now our DVC. I wish he was here, Daktari, to talk about it, because they're actually in the field supporting IBC. I think IBC wants to look at it at that level, and we are praying that in future it is going to be national. It may be Open University of Kenya that will be behind the running and the training of electronic voting in this country. Number two, we have Shujaa app, which is a ride-hailing system that was developed by a student. What is going on? Daktari, somebody is playing around with the... Are you able to hear me? Somebody is playing around with the surface. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Then we have Shujaa app, which is a ride-hailing system. It is already in the market. It was commercialized. And I think the students behind it have onboarded about 1,500 taxi drivers. It is like Uber and those ride-hailing systems like Bolt. Then Shujaa app has created another one. That team has created what we call Shujaa Pay. Shujaa Pay is a fintech application. It is now awaiting ratification by CBK. And once that is done, I think DTB, Diamond Trust Bank, is actually the one that wrote to CBK. They want to see, once CBK ratifies it, they want to partner with the student who came up with it to support their systems. And then we have Rabbit Link. Rabbit Link is an app to empower community-level rabbit farmers by providing a digital platform that supports knowledge sharing, production management, market access, and coordination across the rabbit value chain in Ulu. Now that is a social enterprise, and as we speak, I think the student received an interest group that saw that application after the students displayed it in Makueni, and they came to see how it works. They want to support that student to develop that system. But for it to become commercialized, because it was a research, it has to be ratified by Kabete because it is in the animal husbandry space. So the student has already has the research, but it has to be ratified. Once that is done, then we are saying that is going to be a number 2 R2C breakthrough for the Open University of Kenya. And those whites from US, they actually came. They are waiting. Once it is ratified, then they will see how it is going to work among the rabbit farmers, because we know rabbit urine does so many things. That is what that student is pursuing. It is already working in Ulu Makueni. Then we have a Limu Smart Plan by a student, actually Professor Nyonje, and supervised. It is an AI lesson generation system. It is has already been prototyped. It is awaiting pitching so that it can now be commercialized. We have Tutorbot AI, which is a technology-driven tutor for young kids in CBE. And the student who developed is also an education student supervised by, I think, Professor Opata. And it has already been taken up by 25 private schools in this country. And also the student was actually invited in Uganda to go and pitch it so that they see how it can be integrated in their junior schools. So those are just some of the things that the university is implementing through various schools, through the capstones that Daktari was talking about, that our form of learning is not theory and academic, purely academic research, is capstone and R2C. And then we have student services coordination and crisis management. Here, the Dean of Students, we are supporting students with special needs including accessibility services, which is being improved by ICT department. We coordinate wellness and mental health. I think I have said that. And then crisis and case management to ensure that our students work together harmoniously. Right? We monitor disciplinary matters, misconduct cases, especially when it comes to communication. Right? We have Cybersecurity Act when it comes to communication on our WhatsApp groups. We are really keen on that to ensure that it does not go beyond what society expects as being ethical, in order to ensure a safe, supportive, and inclusive learning environment. We also offer oversight to ensure that the Student Governing Council activities comply with university rules and regulations and prevailing legal frameworks, because we know as we speak today, the law has changed. The SGCs used to be internal. These days, they must comply with even the Constitution. They must comply with other new laws that have come up. So we give oversight to guide students to ensure that even the Constitution they come up with must reflect prevailing global laws, best practices, and especially the Constitution of Kenya. And we have done all that. It is just awaiting implementation. Then community and industry linkages. We work together with deans of schools to design programs that encourage student community engagement, activities, volunteer programs, and career support opportunities. So, how do you now, what do we expect of our postgraduate students regarding these mechanisms and opportunities? Number one, because we are postgraduate, a lot of us are working, a lot of us have wealth of experiences across the industry. So number one, we'd expect you to support the university as peer educators and role models, and underscore role models. If you look at what is happening in social media, there is a lot of conversation going on that our young people in this country do not have role models. So we are expecting our postgraduate students to be role model to those who are coming through CUSPs, these young people who are just coming in, right? They are quite raw, and then each other, right? So we expect postgraduate students, particularly those with experience or training in areas like psychology, counseling, leadership, education, or community development, to act as peer educators and peer supporters, and to work with the Dean of Students' Office to see how we can improve our systems. Number two, community outreach. We are expecting our students to partner in community health or wellness outreach, especially where Open University has partnerships with counties or organizations. For example, nursing programs and health facilities partnerships, because postgraduate students can actually design, supervise, or evaluate community wellness and education programs because you are already engaged in them in one way or the other. Next, peer support and mentoring. We expect our postgraduate students to also act as peer counselors and mentors. That is informal facilitation of support groups, stress reduction circles, or academic wellness sessions, which can actually increase participation and normalize health-seeking behavior among our junior students. Content development. We are not saying that we expect our postgraduate to develop content in terms of curricula, but we are saying they can create tailored wellness learning resources such as pamphlets, online materials, share information to help students in the university better understand issues like mental well-being, stress management, and physical health habits, because we know some of us are already training other people out there in these issues. Then peer support and advocacy. We expect our postgraduate students to provide peer-to-peer support by listening, encouraging, and referring fellow students to appropriate services. Leadership and program implementation. I have just heard Dr. Sang talk about leadership. Now, research says that leaders influence. My professor once told me that the word influence actually describes the characteristics of good leaders. I is integrity, N is nurture, F is have faith in those you are working with. L is listening, always listen. U is understanding that people are different, so don't compare them. Influence. E is learn to empower others. When you empower others, you empower yourself. Influence, understanding, enlarge. N is be the navigator, meaning that always volunteer to influence others to move. Always volunteer by supporting. Always volunteer. You don't need to be asking for money all the time. I know of people who get opportunities even outside the country just because they volunteered. So that is what leadership is all about. C means connecting people to their potential. As a leader, you need to identify people's strengths, connect those strengths to where they can shine. And E means empower. We are here to empower each other. So we expect our postgraduate students to act influence. And then help us as the Dean section to suggest, plan, organize, and implement wellness activities in collaboration with other departments. We expect you to help us in promotion and awareness creation, early identification and referral of students who could be struggling, especially in their progress, so that they can be guided. Creating an inclusive and safe space. We expect you to help us create a safe, respectful, and non-judgmental environment within clubs, societies, and in the academic space, to help us support diversity, equity, and accessibility, watching out for students with disabilities or special needs, so that you can inform the office to see how they can be assisted. And then we are masters and PhD research. We expect as a Dean section for you to help us in research and evaluation. Postgraduate students are expected to lead or assist in research projects that assess student health needs or evaluate the impact of wellness programs, helping Open University of Kenya to be a leader in impact research, practical research, by developing evidence-based wellness strategies. And number 10, inclusivity and safe space. I've already said that, I think. How do we do this? Just by participation and engagement. The programs we have talked about, actively join those clubs to support our younger students, to share your experiences, to support by way of using your positions out there to support these programs, and then attend wellness activities and sessions to identify gaps and help us on how we are going to fill those gaps, especially on mental health forums, peer discussions, and awareness campaigns. We welcome you to do that. And then finally, the 10 commandments of remaining healthy and well as a student at the Open University of Kenya. And not just as a student, wherever you are, because we don't want you to be well within and unwell at home. Well within and well on the road. Well within, it will not help. Number 1, believe in yourself. Believe you can and you will. Work hard by setting the example of hard work, resilience in everything that you do. Never give up. Find your inner strength and keep going. Watch out for the drowning man. Be aware that there are people around you who may not be as strong as you are. Identify them, hold their hands. Next, forget the past. Don't drag your past along, and don't allow people to remind you of your past. Drop the past and get hold of the bright future. Keep going forward and never look back. Next, learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are human. There is no walking human being except Jesus Christ and God himself who does not make mistakes. So don't allow mistakes to define who you are. Be grateful. Be grateful that you have an opportunity to improve on yourself and use the opportunity wisely within the timelines that you have set. Take care of your body and mind. Eat well, exercise, remain peaceful to keep yourself mentally healthy. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. That was real information, very serious and very key in our development, in our studies. Thank you very much, Madam Betsy. And I hope and believe you can see the reactions. I even feel like I should pause and see them move up. They're enormous. Thank you for that. So, as we progress with our schedule for the day, we have actually been talked to. We have been told what Open University of Kenya is. And we have also been shown by Madam Betsy that it is not all academic. You cannot do academics if you're not well mentally, if you are not well health-wise, and all the other spheres of life have not been taken care of. And that is why we have things like the societies, the associations, and all that to help us grow spiritually, mentally, in all spheres. And that tells you you're not anything less than any other student in another university, whether the university is physical or online. So we'll continue interacting. You will be, the clubs and societies will be available to you so that you can join those ones that are of your interest. And you can also guide. Some of us here I know are working in some places, and maybe you're doing activities that are related to those clubs and societies. Your leadership, your guidance, your support is required in those clubs. So feel free to offer them as we go along. So we will get into the question and answer section, because that is the next session. We get to ask questions that we have not asked on the chat, questions that have not been responded to. And then the OUK staff be standby so that when you're called upon, you respond. And we also look at the chat. We continue answering those on the chat. I can assure you the questions are many. They are serious questions, and we appreciate, because these are people who are thirsty to know what the university offers. So I will invite Madam Bernice Ogonda, the head of admissions section, to take us through the question and answer. Thereafter, we'll receive the remarks from our Deputy Vice Chancellor. So once we are done with the question and answer, we'll listen to our DVC in charge of academic affairs. So Bernice, please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kagusha, and the facilitators that have taken us through the sessions that were scheduled this evening. So we have now come to the question and answer session, and I would request that we restrict our questions to what we have covered this evening. Otherwise, we have general questions that have been posted in the chat, which we can all make reference to. So I would like us to limit our questions to understanding OUK learning models, teaching facilitation and assessment approaches, student policies, rules and regulations, as well as health, wellness and support mechanisms. And I can see Anne has her hand up. So I'll be taking 5 questions at a go. We respond to that and then take another set of 5. So Anne, go first. Anne, Pauline. Okay. Erastus. Erastus, please. Looks like people have their hands up, but they're either they don't know how to.
They were muted. They were all muted. Maybe, Director, you can assist us. We had muted everybody, or do we?
But sorry,
with the chat?
Same powers. So you can just unmute the person you want to speak. For example, I've unmuted Erastus.
Erastus, go on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I had some presentation from Prof where he said the study is self-paced, meaning I can maybe take 2 courses or units in a semester. So I was just inquiring that if I take maybe 2 or 1, is that in any way affecting my fees, or I will just still be able to pay the full fees for the semester? Thank you.
Thank you, Erastus, for that question. Anne?
Thank you
Sorry,
so
go
much,
on.
Banit. Sorry.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Banit. I also wanted to ask, for how long can I access the content in the LMS? Will I be given the access throughout my learning period, or there's a point in time where the content will be pulled down? Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Samuel?
Well, I had a query on the issue of fees. Perhaps someone is not able to take 4 or 5 or 3 units, and I'm able to take 1 or 2 or 3. How am I able to segment that and be able to know the exact fees for what unit and how much I can pay for the specific unit, specific units that I'm taking within the same course?
Thank you, Samuel, for that question. Celine?
Hi, I'm not sure if the question I'm going to ask was covered, but because I was not here at the beginning of the meeting. But I've seen in the chat you answered that we have 2 semesters per academic year. But I'm just curious. The first question being, is there an option to try SEM? Another one is, how does the happy path look like if someone is at par with the timelines? How does it look like from the semesters to the thesis to the completion of the program?
Thank you, Celine, for that question. John Wanjala?
Okay, thank you for the chance. I was asking about how the calendar moves, because we have the January, April semester, we have the May, September. So I want to know how the semester runs per year. For example, when I can start learning from January to May, then can I begin at September to December, or can I just continue for 2 consecutive semesters, or how does it work? Thank you.
Thank you, John, for your question. And I will ask our director ICT, Dr. Ongaro, though he has not given us his bit of presentation, but because these issues of fees are tied to the availability of content and how long they are available and how this fee is segmented, I would request that Dr. Ongaro, you respond to these aspects before we proceed to the next set of questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for holding forth. Basically, there's some questions I will answer very quickly. One is the Open University of Kenya holds a tri-semester, It was actually formed for a specific purpose, which I should have said in my remarks. So basically, the Open University of Kenya, we run a tri-semester, and we are very flexible. And I'll have a time to say this, what this flexibility means. It actually means that you can do whatever you want, basically in terms of you control your learning. Like you can say, I want to just do 2 courses. Then maybe next time I'll do another 2. Next time I'll do another 1. But of course, you're a postgraduate student, you don't do a lot unless you're doing masters. So what I'm saying is the university is extremely flexible, because that's why it's a specialized university, something I should have said. And so you'll see on your bill, we actually invoice you per course. When you register per course, we've been invoicing you per course. Like, I don't know if I have a student here on the portal, but basically what I'm saying is that we've been invoicing you per course, not by program. Of course, at the end of the time, you will have to pay the fees, but we'll invoice you per course at a given time. That's basically how we run. Yeah. Okay, so it's invoicing per course. Yeah. Can try to show something to help. Because you don't know the student anyway, I can try to show my screen to help you calm you down. I think you can see my screen very quickly. You can see what happens. We invoice you per course, okay? This is some student. So you'll be seeing things like this. So the fee is, yes, annual, but the invoicing is per course you take. So we will not be like saying, you have done this course you were supposed to do last year. So we bill you. So we invoice you actually per what you consume. And so you can do 2 courses now, and then you actually postpone to do something else later. And you'll see this invoicing, how it works when you register for any of the courses. The next thing is, how long do you access the content? Will it be pulled down? Because I'm in charge of content, I can answer this straight away. And I will tell you that once you pass the course, we'll definitely get you off. But of course, with some, let me call it grace period, we'll give you like 6 months or something, or sometimes less, maybe 4 months, and then we'll leave you off because we need to archive the material as per the policies. So then fee units, I think we already said that, and then leadings per course. That means you can do a course now, postpone for 2 months or 3 months, and then come back and then do a course, you know, something like that. It's very flexible. And we run a tri-semester for those who are interested to know. That means we have, for example, now we have, this is the start of the year. So we have Jan, and then we have May or June there, and then we have September. So that means tri-semester. And if of course you're lucky, because we have to give you a facilitator, you can actually join in sessions. And some of the things we have had already is that we actually run what we call as 2 exam sessions within a semester. So like if you missed an exam now, and I think this was said by the Dean of Science, like if you miss an exam now in December, sorry, can't hear me. But if you miss an exam like in December, then you can actually try to do it in another within the semester, of course. So that means you have 2 chances to do that exam. You actually do the exam when you're ready. Yeah. So, and then what else? Content first semester. I think those were the questions. And something else I feel I should say, which will confuse you, is credit transfer and exemption. Like if somebody hasn't asked this, in case it happens, it has to be in the same level. So you can't ask for a credit exemption from an undergraduate course to a master's course. That is called an exemption. If you want a credit transfer, then the courses have to be in the same level, and you will see how that happens. And there is, of course, policies guiding this to make sure that we don't overrun anything. Yeah, I think I answered most of the questions. Bernice?
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Ongaro, for the responses to those questions. So we'll take a second round of questions, and this time we start with Kenneth. Kenneth? Okay. Kipkoech, Mutai.
The presentation was good. I want to ask about, can I do both PGDE plus the master's program? That was my question.
Okay, thank you for that question. Michael?
Yes, good evening. This is Molandi, Michael. So my question, my interest was on the fees. For one to do a summative assessment, so how much percentage of fee he or she should have paid? Then is there a restriction? And if there are restrictions, so I think we need to get a clear guidelines on the way forward concerning the fees
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we got you, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Amos Otunga.
Yes, maybe my question has been partly asked, but because I have an opportunity, I wanted to ask about the communication channel. It has been mentioned that when you are not ready to take an exam, then you are allowed to maybe take it the next time the exam is being offered. I can miss even 3 sessions or the exam periods and do it in the 5th one. How do I communicate?
Thank you. Thank you, Amos. You'll get a response to that, Robert. Robert Ombego.
Yes. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this wonderful presentation. My question is on the timetable for the online training. Will we be having a timetable to follow? And the professors that will be taking us through, will it be like a definite thing, or will be left to read on our own, since it is self-paced? Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. The last question in this round of questions is by Silas Musakali.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Silas Musakali. My question is on the value of what I will learn in my course. And I'm keen on knowing if the university has a department or a mechanism of having active research to ensure that what we learn in terms of the content and the materials is relevant to the current needs of the society. That means I don't want to learn, maybe in IT, don't want to learn something that has expired in the current period. So do you have that mechanism of updating the content, and how often do you normally update this content? And maybe the last one is can the content change within a semester, where maybe I have started learning this particular content and then in between something changes? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Silas, for those 2 questions. And because these questions are somehow related, I will ask the registrar to respond to whether one can do PGD and masters at the same time, how much fees must one pay before exams, the communication channels in the event that one is not ready to sit exam when it is being offered, and then the scheduling of classes, as well as update of, I think this is basically curriculum review as as the university updates, depending on changes that may have happened. So, Registrar.
Thank you, Bernice, and thank you, our students, for the questions. They're quite interactive. Now, I'll answer. The first one is on the PGD and the masters together. Yes, this is doable, but then you have to really weigh your schedule so that you're able to do the tasks for both of them, and so that you also don't have clashes during examinations. Our advice in most cases is that you do one at a time, but if there is a force that is making you do 2 at the same time, and you have checked yourself, you found that you can manage, then you go ahead and do that. Then on the examination sessions, We have talked about having end session examinations. These we offer after every session. Like now we are beginning a January-April session. So in April, we'll have examinations. And for those who will not manage to sit their examinations in April, we will give you a chance in the middle of the next session. That is around May, June. We'll give you a session so that you sit your examinations. I saw a question in the chat where somebody was asking whether you can do a second session, second semester if you have not completed the first semester's examinations. That is possible, and you plan to do the examinations at the mid session so that by the end of the second session you have completed the year. Because for those who need to move to the next level, the next year of study, then you'll be required to have cleared with the first year of study. So that needs to be a bit clear so that we are not locked out because of such issues. Then whether we have exam timetables, we have a schedule, an examination schedule, where we tell you that this examination will be offered at this time and the other one will be offered at the other time. There are exemptions, especially maybe due to timelines and all that. If you are in a different time zone, that can be communicated and we see how to deal with your case. For whether we update the content to give you relevant and updated content, this is done. For the content, we actually update as we continue learning, but at the beginning of the session. But then for the curriculum, we review our curricula after every cycle. If the curriculum is a 4-year curriculum, we'll offer to 4 years. Once you're done, we graduate the first lot, then we revise that curriculum so that we have the most current content in it. And in our curriculum development, content development, and even curriculum review, we invite experts from the industry so that they tell us this time the industry does not need this, but they require this is what is needed. So we infuse that into our content and into our curriculum. So that fear, please, it has been taken care of, and we assure you of the most current information, most current content. How much we need to pay, the percentage of the fee we are supposed to pay to sit for examinations. We encourage all the students to pay all the fee for that semester. That is the requirement. Complete the fee for the semester before we sit for the examinations. Then, as much as we've given you a flexibility at the beginning, let us also be responsible because it takes the two of us to make this university. So we allow you to study, pay in installments, but clear by the end of the session before you sit for your examinations. I think I've handled that. I've handled the cases, Bernice. Don't know whether there's one that I've left.
No, I don't think you've left any. So thank you very much.
Yeah. And as we continue, Bernice, when we invite the director next, he'll give us a question that I saw in the chat, payment of fees, whether there are other channels of paying. I know we pay through eCitizen and the various ways. So director, you'll guide us on that. And then there is the process of fee payment. This will be handled on Friday. Actually, fee issues will be handled on Friday, but the director can touch so that those who have fees that they want to pay don't really get inconvenienced. Thank you. Go on, Bernice.
Your registrar, I think I'll take the final round of questions and request that students kindly go through the chat. We have a number of questions that have been responded to therein, and so you can also make reference to that. This is because of time and my wish that we have the director deal with some of these issues, the director ICT. So Kevin, you go first in this last round. Chetambe, Kevin.
Thank you, Bernice, for the opportunity. I just wanted to know the procedure for the intra-school transfer and how long does it take for it to be approved? I think that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharice Wairimu.
Hello, it's Cherise. So I was having an issue on the session registration. So I was just wondering how we're going to be able to register for the sessions for classes.
The director ICT will take us through that. So just be patient, kidogo tu. He'll handle that. Nancy Lucy. Nancy Lucy. Nancy, are you there? Okay, let's then take a question from Klipnik Omolo.
Thank you. I had a plus. Of course, we had expectations, but some are already exceeded. It's a plus that we also thought it is just virtual learning and all that, but we realized there is a lot being done physically as well, especially in sport. I have an interest in the sports. Do you participate in another stadium underway? And are the postgraduates allowed to join clubs? Like I've got the chess, I guess that is an online one, not necessarily attendance. Thank you.
Everyone is allowed to attend, to sign up for these clubs and participate. Thank you. Kennedy Kimani. Kennedy. Okay.
Okay. I had difficulties unmuting. Thank you. So mine is again on the fees. I'm just seeking a clarity. I initially registered for a second bachelor's, but then transitioned to a master's program. I had made a payment for the bachelor's. So how do I transition the fees to the new program?
Your question is specific to yourself, and so I request that you probably give us your registration numbers, and we'll have Anne of Finance respond, or rather attend to your question. Otherwise, other issues of finances will be discussed on Thursday and Friday. Okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Eric Chuma.
My question was during the proctored exams, what happens in case one has a temporary outage of their internet connection? Once it resumes, do you still go back to where you are, or will you lose your exam session? Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Sospita.
Thank you very much. Thank you, facilitators, for the insight of our course. Now, my question is, and this has affected many of people who have commented on the word, that we were very excited about doing PhD in education, and some even went ahead to do even without consulting like the requirements. So some did, and maybe they don't qualify. What happens after finishing the course, then applying for TSC, you realize that you don't qualify in one way or the other? What do we do?
Thank you, Sospita. I think that question will be best answered on Thursday during your departmental orientation sessions, because that is where course-specific queries will be dealt with. So if you can just hold on for that session, then the School of Education will respond to that. Allow me to invite the Director ICT to respond to these questions, because they're all system-related questions. So, Director, kindly take us through your presentation, then give us some details about intra transfers, session registrations, and payment of fees. I know that you will cover this exhaustively on Thursday, but you can just give us a brief on the same. Thank you very much. And thank you, students, for attending the session.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I hope I'm audible. So colleagues complain, maybe I need to change computers. But basically, what I want to say, I think someone asked about communication channel when they don't want to do the exam itself. I want to tell you that there is no communication channel. Our systems knows you have not done exams, so you don't have to trigger anything. You just need to not to be there and to attempt anything. So we will know that you are actually not done the exam because we actually monitor, because everything is extremely monitored. So you don't need to tell anybody that you are actually you will actually be away. I think I wanted to clarify that, and I think I've had colleagues who want to do PhD and the same time with a master. You will realize soon, and I will show you my screen, but it's not possible as much as you would want to be ambitious. I think it would be nicer if you can actually stick with one thing and then you do another. I've been teaching for some years, I think 15 years at the University of Nairobi, and I know how, as colleagues, we want to move things faster, but you realize that there is also the interaction part, which you cannot do by just trying to do so much at the same time. You will see. And then our turnaround is extremely quickly. Actually, I've never seen a university this fast. We are digital fast, mobile fast, mobile everything. And I will tell you that if you apply for interfaculty transfer or something, it should take like a couple of days and it's concluded. And I think you've seen this from admission. We don't have to play on trumpet. You can see how effective we have been even in admitting you. And that is the same energy we use to actually try to do everything to make sure that we actually serve the very student. And that will take me to my discussion, which I'll do. And I will do a presentation actually on several things, which will actually help you understand the philosophy of the university. So I didn't do this early enough, but I will do it. And then I think someone asked about transition to fees. Actually, it's just the information you didn't get. If you transferred, the fee will have followed you. But I think a colleague asked about his fees on a bachelor program. Now he changed his mind, which is not a problem because that's why we exist for. Flexibility is the thing. And we should try to solve your issues. And then somebody asked about the exams and power. I think we all live in Kenya. Yes, in that unfortunate event, if power comes back within the time, the exam is still running, like you go back and you have, let me say a reasonable time, we should be able to continue from where. So we save sessions for a colleague who was asking. And then the maximum number of courses you will take, like PhD, you want to do 2. And somebody asked about very specific about the possibility of getting more information about what TSC will require. And that you will get from the people who are actually, this session today was about, understanding the university, what it's doing. And you will get actually those specific answers from those colleagues. Great. Having said that, I'll try to be extremely brief because this is a presentation I should have made a long time ago. But sorry, we needed to do so many things, but it doesn't make it any different. And I will still share it to everyone, like what the Open Universities want to do. I've been in both universities, like the brick and mortar, where they have so many bricks, and this one. So basically, this is my presentation. I gave a similar presentation to the undergraduate who are actually attending the same session. So you don't have to have a problem. If evening doesn't work for you, work in the morning. If the morning doesn't work. So my name is Jared Ongaro, and I'm the current director at the Open University of Kenya. And the Open University of Kenya is here to transform higher education. And basically through digitalization. Just a moment, I mute someone, or my colleagues will help me. So basically the thing is, and it's important you understand the Open University, then you realize that all your questions will be answered within the framework. So what is the Open University? So it's about transforming higher education through digitalization. So we talk about Singapore, we talk about Japan, all these countries. we can't reach them. We only need to reach them using digitalization. And you've seen how fast the government of Kenya has been putting a lot of effort in digitalizing e-citizen, how you pay your fees, by the way. And there's only one channel, because we are a public university, you'll soon learn. We have to comply with the regulations which govern this country. I don't mind if you need to annotate, but I hope you just want to see something. It's fine, but I think it's be better if I'll still share the presentation if you need. Okay, so that's some mosaic of pictures, very beautiful pictures. Here is the president giving the Open University logo, which you're seeing everywhere, to the chair of council. Currently, he was actually the chair of the technical team, which I was privileged to serve. Here is our chancellor here, for those who want to see. Here is our chancellor, Dr. James Mwangi. He's our chancellor of the university. So you can see how the university is actually framed for those who want to get information very quickly. And here's the president. Actually, the president was supposed to be the chancellor of this university. So the university is a specialized public university. Public is important. Chartered on August 3rd, 2023 by the Act of Parliament. So specialized universities are actually chartered by Act of Parliament. Parliament must agree as far as Article 22B is concerned in terms of how you charter universities. This is us and the chancellor, the president, and other dignitaries working to the charter, to the dais. And then here's the president handing the instruments of power, a lot of booklets, which are policies and other things, you know, the organization structure and other things to the chair of council. Yes, the president actually inaugurated the building we have at Konza. We have our headquarters in Konza, and that is where the office is. If you want to work physically and you're in somewhere in Mombasa Road and you want to know where the university is, the university is actually as at Konza, the Crado building. And here is the maze being handed over from the chair of council to the chancellor. And I think I've said the other things. Here is the vice chancellor together with the chancellor, the two chancellors. One is the chief executive, the other one is the ones who's the titular head of the university. And then the vision, mission, and philosophy. So the vision is the innovative. So, I mean, I have taught for the University of Nairobi for 15 years, data science, mathematics, and I was actually the head of data science there. And I know that we are the oldest university, now seconded at the Open, but we are not necessarily the most innovative. So here is an innovative university for inclusive prosperity to have everybody included. And the mission is actually to provide flexible, affordable, accessible. So this affordability is important. And that's why somebody is telling you, you pay 10% of the year fees, such that by the end of the year, you should have, or the end of the semester, you should have completed paying your fees. Otherwise, come on, you have to pay our salaries and you have to pay for the services you consume. And we are not a profit making. So that's why the fee is that affordable. Everybody's asking, can you really study with that fee? The answer is yes, because that is the vision of the university, is to be flexible, you know, and then the affordability. That's the mission we are given by government of Kenya. So we believe in providing education for all, building on prior learning. Universities subscribe to the need for quality education, for mobility and equality. Because who are these people you want to be prosperous? It's all of us, you know. Then you realize how that's important. So we are government. We have government, if you didn't know, very government, established by His Excellency the President, and we're there to serve this country. So institutional orientation, I've been talking about specialized, but we're not special. So we are government's strategic objective to increase accessibility by providing flexible mode. That's important. We are not cheap, but we are flexible, affordable, and all those things to, flexible mode of learning. That's why we are saying, if you're not ready for the exam, you just say, it's okay, next time, because that's what we're exactly there for. So we want to enhance quality education through innovation, and through innovation and quality education through innovation, teaching and learning. Digitization of our education is our goal, and international and sharing of best practices is what we dwell in. So it's all about a new era of education. So since it's chattering, the university has made significant strides. Actually, we have a lot of students, and we'll highlight the key milestone achieved in our journey towards that. So it's about using ICT to transform how we teach education, how we make education. So you will see a learning management system, which is extremely powerful in terms of delivering even mathematics. I'm a mathematician, by the way, for your information. So the elements include virtual classroom, multimedia content, real-time analytics. For those who are asking how long do we, we keep the content extremely updated. And we see you'll have all the sandboxes if you're doing programming. And then we have OUK ELP. Of course, it's under development because we are extremely 1.5 years under operation. But we have provided the most important basic things we must provide to make sure you can cost transfer, you can do credit transfer. And I hope you know the difference. Credit transfer is you did a master's, for example, or a bachelor's in another university, you want to transfer those credits to this university. But if it's a master, it has to be a master because you don't transfer from different levels. You transfer from the same level for credit. Otherwise, you say, oh, I already know that content. I've been a mathematician at the University of Nairobi. I don't have to be told basic mathematics or foundations of mathematics because I even taught that and even wrote a book, something like that. And then you present the necessary portfolio and somebody says you don't need that material because you already mastered it. You need to really get the difference such that you don't waste your money and resources doing the other. So it's about digital education excellency, and we are reading the future for education. And I think you're in the right university. So those problems you've seen, including the brick on wall I was at the University of Nairobi, this is very different. Technology is being used to mainstream and solve the problems which were there. So you might have issues like maybe something didn't work well because, as I said, we are aligning our digital infrastructure because it's not like somebody else's. We can't borrow the technology from the University of Nairobi, even if it was robust, because we are different. Our mission is different. Our vision is different. So we have our own thing. And I just want to say we want to impact Kenyans and beyond. And it's about digital skills, innovation, business and entrepreneurship, and even micro-credentials. And instead of doing 2 degrees, maybe you should do one of our nice short courses. So education and workforce development, it's our thing. So program diversification to increase option and enrollment. I mean, this Singapore we talk about, it's the university to be innovative because that's the pillars of knowledge to change the way we perceive and we do things. Then we all prosper as a country. That's the inclusive prosperity. So the university is what it is. I think I can even tell you student voices, they've said, you can open doors for me to go back to school. Learning science subject online has been surprising. Student didn't know. As I was saying, I'm a mathematician and I always thought physically. Then Open University came and we started doing things differently because we have a different mandate where I'm seconded right now. So we use Zoom most of the time. And I'm saying about Zoom because you'll see these logos many times. Like right now, we muted everyone, but that's not our intention because our intention is to engage. But then we need to make it meaningful for everybody. That's why we are saying, we use Zoom, we do whatever we do. And there will be a lot of these meetings and they will be on Zoom in the evenings, mostly because you are postgraduate students. You see classes in the evening and you meet, you discuss, you do things, you meet your professors, you solve problems. And it's all about learning. Learning has to be in virtual classrooms, in meetings, webinars, and so on, to make sure that we have a chat, we have an audio, we have a video, for example, you can see me, and so many other things. So the signing up of Zoom, I don't have to say much more. Please make sure you download it. You go to zoom.us, sign up, it's free, then download. I have a lot of colleagues here who have joined this meeting. And there's no offense by someone shared their link, they had registered. You needed to register yourself such that we know so-and-so actually did attend our meeting. Okay, so then once registered, you download the app. If you're using a phone, just make sure you have a Zoom app. If you're using a Windows or Mac or iOS laptop, do exactly that and join a meeting from a client. The experience is extremely fast and better. And make sure you always update it to the latest version. The other things, you're already you're already experts, and I'm very happy as your director to really have such an excellent class. We are already 1,000+, and guys are extremely doing the things and doing them so well. So join always. There's always the link, but sometimes there's no link. You have to register, and then the link is email to email because it's personalized. And the purpose of that is just security, just making sure we are secure. We don't get Zoom bombed and other things, and we are actually extremely secure. And I know most of you are better even IT personnel than I am, and you know what I mean. So sharing screens, those are the things you learn. Reactions are already seen, thumbs up. I don't want to go there. And thank you for that. There's backgrounds and other things. And you can see, for example, I've changed my background. I do that, I've explained, or at least I've tried to explain this. Zoom changes every day, but I've tried to explain. The views are different. If you're using a mobile phone, you can annotate. And I think I've seen people, our colleagues annotate. I can annotate, I can do things, can write functions, whatever. That's annotation. That's important. But the most important thing is we can actually do this, and I've provided that. The virtual background, like one I've done for something else. So you can share your screen, and how you choose the right screen. I've explained that, and I'll share that. I don't want to spend so much time. But the most important thing is that within this meeting, we can actually have breakout rooms, just to make sure that we are in different rooms. Like that we'll do on Thursday. Like we will go into different programs. Those in data science will go to another room. Those in AI will go in another room. And those in cybersecurity, things like that. And we have a conversation in such a small cohort, such that we are able to listen to each other. And you'll see, you will click on these 4 squares, and then it will ask you, join now, whatever. Then you click join, then you get into that room. You get that room with only people in your subject, MBA students only. In an MBA class now, we talk MBA things, things like that. So there's a chat, which you guys are already amazing. You can share a file, you can chat the way you're doing. You've done it so well. You can either chat with everyone or chat with individuals, and you're doing that extremely well. You've done these reactions, whenever you want to talk in this meeting, I think you've already raised up your questions, your hands to ask questions. And I don't want to repeat that, but I just want to say it's amazing. Yes, and the views are different depending on the gadget you use. You can record, of course, if you have permissions. And then there is always meeting etiquettes. And I think you already won with this. Always stay muted, of course, even if I didn't mute everybody. And then raise up your hand when you need to ask. Always make sure you're unmuted. Things happen. People have lost jobs by being careless on this Zoom or wherever. Just be nice. Don't be, annotating a screen if it's not a collaborative feature. Just stay calm. If you're using a camera, make sure that you can see your face. We can see you clearly. If you're using anything you're using, just make sure you stay composed. If you have your video on, make sure your background, you're not in a compromising situation. You're not in bad, environment. You're not in a matatu stage. Then, people are your audience is being distracted, things like this. And I think that's always important. Always, we will try to be inclusive. You have seen from our vision that our university is the innovative university for inclusive prosperity. So we are here for everybody. So it's an inclusive approach. So that means we are approachable. That's why we will always try, this is the first university you get an SMS from a professor in the middle of the night, just to remind you to finish your homework, because we are flexible, we are approachable, and we try very much to be everything is be planned. But we are also human beings. So sometimes if we make mistakes, please forgive us, because at the end of the day, the aim of inclusive teaching is not to dilute standards or to change content, but to adopt teaching styles that accommodate a diversity of ability, cultural backgrounds, and learning styles and needs. That's exactly the reason. So this is not for you, but I'm saying if you have any questions, you raise up your hand. So these are the things you are asking about. Can I do 2 more courses? Can I do 3? We can actually answer them in that particular way. I can actually do things very quickly. As I said, so we use, someone asked about communication. I've tried to share our communication channels, official ones, on the chat. There are so many information. So if information is about paying your fees, doing something, and it's not coming from those channels I shared, I can share them again. It's not from us, it's from other promoters, which are okay. But like, for example, we were not streaming this meeting live on YouTube, but if somebody streamed it, I mean, I don't mind, but it's not us. So OUK as official channels of communication, and I'm now speaking as the director ICT. So we have a channel, we have TikTok, we have everything for different purposes. We have LinkedIn. Maybe you haven't done a good job there to change it into a school page. We'll do that. And then WhatsApp, Twitter, or the formerly now X, we are in those channels, but they are official for the university. And most of the time it's Open Uni Kenya. And I'll share them again, just to remind you that if it's an official communication and it's not from that channel, it will happen. And another thing is that we are transitioning from WhatsApp for the purpose of conducting our classes to something else, because we have grown and we can no longer, we started with WhatsApp everywhere. We are having our own communication channel for the purpose of communication, such that you can even get history, if you need it to get something. WhatsApp, if you join today, you don't remember, you don't get what happened yesterday. So we will be streaming some of those things and we'll communicate officially. So in a nutshell, we have WhatsApp, which is official for the university, but it's a channel, not this work group. So it's a one-way where we put in information and communicate to you very quickly. Please join us in those channels and so on. And so in this website, which we are actually working on to make it better, we have already enough things, the uniqueness, the chancellor, for those who have been wondering why I'm getting this. And we have schools, we have programs, we have timetable. So our teaching is not like, we don't just leave you, we handhold you, we make sure that you are with us, such that we don't lose you, because handholding is very important. Education which is not personalized, as a teacher, I can tell you, it's not for me. If it's not personalized to serve my needs, then that's not good education. So good education is now, which is personalized. So you come here to the timetable, you pick your school. Sorry, we'll actually put everything here. You pick your school, you pick your program, you pick your program, you pick everything, and then you make sure that you can actually access your timetable. So everything will be here, timetable. Maybe somebody's building it. And then you will see if there's short courses, there is programs, there is research, anything you want to do, make sure that you actually maintain it and you get it from this page. So the timetables are actually shared. So every day you will see, I don't know why, just try to see this very quickly as I finish. Yeah, I think somebody is trying to build something. So anyway, don't worry. But what I'm saying, colleagues, is that the timetables will be shared on this platform. And when they're shared on this platform, we'll make sure that you actually get them. So, yeah, so sorry, I'm not liking it. But the thing is that the timetables and everything will actually be shared on this platform. So you will see every day you have a class. So that's why it will make it logistically very hard for you to be able to sorry, can't get. So for you to be able to show this, but the point I'm making is that the timetables and many things you will provide, they will actually be available here. So we'll then show you how to do this if you haven't done this. So the first thing you do once you get to a letter is to do session registration. I may not share this, but I can try to write. So the first thing to do is to do session registration, whereby you have to say, I'm registering for this session. Once you register, you'll be required to pay at least 10% of your fees. And then once you do that, then you will do now Of course, you will have registered as a student because we provide an ID online. So yes, you will provide an ID online. And once we provide an ID online, so we need your passport. So when you do your passport, you need to make sure that that passport is actually a passport. I can see you in full. Then passport, then session registration, then you register for courses. And then if you need to do credit transfer and exemption, please know the difference. Otherwise, you don't mix yourself up and do the wrong thing and then start asking for a different. I think, let me stop there. We will actually give you more like how do you go to the LMS and learn, and that's a specific thing. So you only do credit transfer and exemption once you have registered as a student and you have registered for that course. So you can't ask for credit transfer before you register for that course. First you register, then you try to ask for something. And that means you must have done an MSc somewhere, because I really hope I'm talking to postgraduate students, and then or a PhD, or a course of that given nature. So I don't want to speak and speak. The maximum number of units you register, you will always be limited, you will see. Like you can only register courses which are in offer. Like if those courses are not running, you cannot request for them, because it's self-paced, but it's actually moderated. Otherwise, thank you. I think, yeah, bye.
Director, thank you. I think you have responded to many questions that I could see on the chat in a summarized way, and we appreciate that. We are now more informed, more empowered in this space of online learning. So we will be having the other sessions as we go on. That is on Thursday. We have some sessions on Thursday where we will go to schools. We'll listen to the librarian. We'll have some session on virtual learning environment, training students on digital skills. Then we will go to our specific schools where we can ask now those program, school, and department related questions. That is the plan. And then on the third day, which is Friday, we will have our session during the day, and this is because we have many stakeholders. We held the orientation session for undergraduates during the day, so we are taking them through during the day, and then we are taking you through the evening. But now for this day, we'll have to merge the two groups and get to listen about financial obligations. We also listen to help officials. And finally, we have the climax where we'll have an address from our Vice Chancellor. So that is the plan. And I have seen a request to reschedule this for the postgraduate students. This may not be possible, but we'll avail the recordings. We'll also stream this on YouTube, and therefore you can watch thereafter. So that is how the schedule is. And so far, I believe we have gotten to where we should have gotten. The one thing that I want to do at this point is to invite our DVC, I believe she's in now, to give us her remarks. They were supposed to be opening remarks, DVC, but you'll now close for us the day. So welcome, Professor Omulando. Can we see Professor on board? Those who have raised their hands, kindly continue typing your questions on the chat so that we don't let you go back, or is it going back home or staying home with your questions? But as we look for Prof, we can have Bernice take about 3-4 questions. We respond to that as I talk to Professor, please. So Bernice.
Sorry, Registrar, I missed out on what you said.
Sorry, I had said we take a few questions as we look for Prof, but she's called. She said she's unable to unmute. So maybe unmute her so that she's able to speak. Prof. Mulando. I was thinking as we wait for Prof, we can take a few questions, but now because she's with us, we can type the questions on the chat. So somebody unmuted, Prof?
Oh, sorry, Registrar, I can't see her on the meeting unless she's joined with a different link, you know, the problem we had.
Yeah, let me also get back to her then with that.
Yeah, if she can raise her hand or something. Or she's in the, okay, I think, yeah. If
There are many hands raised up, so we may not know which one is hers
Oh,
if
but
the
that's
name
fine.
is different. Yeah.
If she can, yeah, she can tell me.
Okay, let me reach out.
Okay, as we wait to hear from Professor Mulando, we can take a few questions. Crispin Odao. Crispin. John Wanjala. Okay,
Vanessa,
let's
unmute them as they, as you call them, unmute them. I'm sure the meeting is up.
John, go ahead. John, we can't hear you. Okay, Crispin.
Yes, my question is, hello?
Sorry, I was not able to mute
Hello?
it. Unmute it.
Hello?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Crispin.
Hello? Yes, we have students who are visually impaired. How does the university cater for their studies? Yes.
Thank you, Crispin. I don't remember seeing any application of a student who is visually impaired. I don't remember seeing any such application because then we would advise the student accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
Bernice, while we are still at that, we can request the students in case you have a special requirement and you didn't indicate, maybe you can let us know so that we capture the details correctly, so that in case you need such support, we can know and get to help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Registrar. Crispin, was that all?
Yes, madam.
Thank you so much. John Wanjala.
Thank you for the chance. I was asking about the issue of the course transfer. For example, if you want to do curriculum, can you be allowed to do it to change the course?
Well, we do allow for inter-transfers and intra-transfers. And I think on Thursday, as you have your departmental orientation sessions, then you will get the details of how this happens, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Julius? Go on, Julius.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. My question is, how are lectures delivered? And our second question is there any extra cost apart from fees?
Thank you for that question. Registrar, would you respond to that?
Sorry, Bernice, I missed the question.
How are lectures delivered and is there an extra cost? I believe
For
that is
lectures?
other than the fees. Huh?
Yes.
The stated
Okay.
fees, is there any other costs?
Okay. One, the lectures are delivered. I believe the person who has asked came in late because this is what Professor Nyonje talked about. We have what we call the asynchronous learning, where you learn on the system and do your tasks, you do your cuts and all the activities that are required. And then we have what we in other quarters we call live sessions, where we have like a Zoom meeting. Then you have your lecturer. They take you through, either you clear areas that were not clear while you are studying, or they want to talk about a particular topic. They raise it and they tell you what they have for you. But this covers about 20% of the learning. The 80%, it is your studies on the system. Then for those live sessions, we record all those live sessions and avail them for you. So in case you're not able to attend, you will listen to the recordings. I think that is answered. About an extra cost, the only other money we'll ask you for is graduation fees. Otherwise, and if you choose to do an extra course that is not stipulated in your program. Otherwise, if you don't have that, then you'll just pay what we have written there on the posters, on the fee structures, and then we get to graduation, we ask for graduation fee, and that will be it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Registrar. I've seen the DVC has joined, and therefore I want to ask those raising their hands, if you have a question that has not been touched on before in today's session, then we allow you to ask. If it's issues of fees, we have talked about that. Inter-transfers, we have talked about that. Credit transfers, that has been responded to. So anyone who has any other thing which has not been mentioned this evening. Julius, would you have one such question? Anyone? Charles? A question that has not been asked before and it's not in the chat? Charles? Kelvin? Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
sorry,
Charles.
I was muted. My question is not a question as per se, is like a clarification. The director ICT said that
Just you disappeared.
Oh, he disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, any of you raising your hands, if you have a question that has not been touched on this afternoon or this evening, then please just unmute and ask.
Okay. My question actually was on clarity on the tri-semester, because we wanted to know that how many courses is the maximum limit we can take per semester, because so when we mention tri-semester, is it possible to take it in 1 year? Only that question only.
Yeah, you will take if you want to do a tri-semester, you can do that in a year. And the number of units in a semester varies from one program to another. And I would request that you get the details of this on Thursday in your school meeting.
Yeah, but Bernice, I think what he is asking is very straightforward. So say you are doing a master program and it has 4 courses per semester, 4. So it's possible that you can actually complete coursework in 1 year. Like you take 4, say from Jan to say May, and then from May to September, and then from September to December. So it's possible, but you will have finished your coursework. I hope that helps. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think Registrar will hand back this session to you to invite the DVC for her remarks.
Yeah, thank you. I believe those hands, your issues have been sorted, and if not, we still have a chance during the Thursday's presentations where we listen to the librarian, we go to schools, and we also listen about fees on Fridays. So I believe your questions may be falling around there, and therefore we will deal with them. So at this time, I want to invite the DVC to give us closing remarks. Then we can close with a word of prayer and we call it a day. So DVC, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kagusha, Registrar, for inviting me into the meeting. And I would like to appreciate all those who have coordinated the process. As I say, good evening to all of us. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know Dr. Ngaro took us through one of the slides talked about how we can use the reaction button on our screen. Given that we are communicating online, one way you can keep the speaker comfortable and feeling happy that they are communicating is doing something that would make the speaker know all is well. So thank you. At least that makes me know we are listening, because I now see 666 participants, but when I joined about an hour ago, were about 800 and something. So about 200 people have dropped, but that is not a problem. I'm very sure we should be able to go through this. So thank you so much. We'd like to appreciate each one of you for having spared your time to come on board as we welcome you to the Open University of Kenya. I know we are tired, so what I'll probably...
My students want to see you, if it's possible.
I'm not too sure that I am able to allow myself to be seen. Let me try. You'll give me maybe 1 or 2 minutes, because I'm actually on transit from one place to another, but I'll try, because I've just arrived at the house, and get myself to a spot where I'll be visible and probably with a pleasant image that would not make and scare people late in the evening. But as I do that, that is okay. I'll do that. I would like to appreciate all of us and just to warmly welcome you to the Open University of Kenya and to congratulate you on this successful admission into your postgraduate diploma, master's, and PhD programs. I can see people laughing at me and doing all manner of things, but I'm very sure the image will not be as scary as you think it will be. It will still be an image that you'll appreciate, even though I've just transited from one point to another. Yeah, so let me have the video on. There it is. Okay, so have you seen the person you wanted to see? I don't know, maybe now I may just have to go on with it, now that I already have the video on. And just to appreciate all of you, like I did indicate, that we are happy to have you on board at the Open University of Kenya. You join a very diverse academic community, and your admission marks a significant milestone, not only for you as a person, but even for us as the Open University of Kenya. And you carry both opportunity and responsibility as you come on board as a master's student. So even as we go through this process, I want you to think through it I would say, with a lot of thoughtfulness, go through it with a lot of thoughtfulness, and in a space where you're telling yourself, I am now moving into a different level of my life where I need a different level of commitment. And what I would like to say is that at OUK, postgraduate academic or postgraduate studies, basically I would say is that we focus a lot on academic excellence, flexibility, inclusivity, and innovation. And so I would encourage you to approach your studies as a period of, or approach this period of studies as a period of deep intellectual engagement and powerful knowledge creation as you look into the future, into your research and the other academic related activities that you will engage in at the Open University of Kenya. We expect you as postgraduate students, given that you already have gone through a different level of learning, and for all of us, the basically should be an undergraduate program. We actually expect that you should focus and approach this level of study with discipline, independence, critical thinking, and most importantly, effective time management. Why did I say most importantly? Because in an online learning space where you're doing everything on your own, wherever you are, you're going to find that sometimes, not sometimes, in fact, all the times, it is you who has to determine when do you want to come on board and at what time do you want to engage with your learning materials. I know I am now kind of summarizing and crystallizing, and I hope that is what I'm doing, much of the issues that you have listened to. I have had an hour at least to listen through the presentations and what has gone on and the question and answer session. And some of these are some of the issues that were being raised. But what we are saying is, in an online learning space, it is important that you think about your time, because there are times you may not manage to come, say, on board at the time maybe the lecturer is interacting with the students as a class, but you're able to come on board at a different time. And I'm very sure as you continue interacting with us, and particularly the ICT director, he would also tell you that actually there are times they have to respond to issues of students, and even for our lecturers, times that are outside the normal working hours, for example, within the Kenyan context in terms of time, because people work at different times and do things at different times. So what we are saying is that we expect you to engage critically with knowledge, apply it responsibly, and uphold the highest standards of academic integrity, ethical conduct, and professionalism. Because at your level, having undergone your studies up to the undergraduate level, and now you've come on board at postgraduate level, some of you have already done your master's, and so you're coming on board as your PhD level. Really, we expect a maturity from you and a lot of, would say, organization, and be a contained group of people. So all programs operate within clearly defined academic regulations, and part of that has already been talked about. Much of this, again, you will get more information when you meet your lecturers and your school, the school faculty members on Thursday, and so you'll get greater clarity, which you are all required to familiarize yourselves and at a very early stage. And I'm very sure also through the office of the registrar, through the office of the admissions, through the admissions office, and also through the examinations office, you should also be able to get a lot of this information on regulations and student maybe rules and regulations that are available for you. So as regards teaching, learning, assessment, and digital responsibility, again, which I'm very sure has been talked about by many of us who are in this meeting here as staff of OUK, I would just like to quickly highlight, as I probably summarize on this, and say that teaching and learning at OUK are basically delivered through online modes. The online mode of learning basically supported by a robust digital platform. And I'm very sure as you continue interacting with us through the guidance and leadership of the director, ICT, we will get to begin appreciating the platforms that we have here. Somebody is saying that I am breaking. I don't know if I should change my connection, probably.
No, you are good. You're good. Yeah, no.
Okay, yeah. Let me see how that works. Yeah, I was going to Titha, but let me see how that works, and we go through this and finish, because I'm just moving through quickly because of time. So we work through that, and you'll begin appreciating the robust digital platforms that we have at OUK. And today we were having some discussions at campus through our council meeting. And one thing that was coming through, we were beginning to appreciate as a team that even as we compare ourselves to all the other universities in Kenya and probably beyond that offer their education in the traditional forms or the conventional forms of learning, and even some who are now who now have their blended forms of learning on board, where they do both the face-to-face and the online together, we begin appreciating that where we are as the Open University of Kenya, we are ahead, because what we do as a university, we keep ahead of the pack. I had one student at some point asking, what is it that they are going to get by coming at OUK? Are they going to be exposed to a curricula that is probably outdated, a curricula that would not be able to resonate with what is happening in the market and industry at the moment? What I would like to tell all of us, let us be confident with OUK. You are in the right place. One, we should appreciate that with the Open University of Kenya, all our curricula is only as old as the university is. The university is only 2 years old, as it were, as such, all right? And because of that, all our curricula is either 2 years or a little under 2 years. And because of that, one, we can be very sure that it is current, because we can't have developed a curricula in the last 2 years or 1 year and at the same time have a curricula that is outdated. But the registrar again did clarify that we keep working through our curricula to ensure that it is updated. So we are working in a space that we should be comfortable that we are in the right place. But even as we appreciate how teaching and learning happens at the Open University of Kenya, as a digitally enabled university, I expect, or we expect, responsible and ethical use of technology and AI. Plagiarism, academic dishonesty will not be tolerated. And we have mechanisms in place that would help us identify this within our environment. So let us work together as a team, even as you conduct your research, as you go through your learning and everything, that we also learn to be ethical users of technology and ethical users of AI, because that is where the world is. And so we must learn to use it well, because technology and AI have become our partners in everything that we do. As we move through what we are talking about, thinking through the teaching and learning, I would like us just to highlight something about supervision and academic support. At the Open University of Kenya, we do appreciate the fact that we have gotten all of you to come on board. Many of you may have had different experiences where you studied, probably if you're coming on a credit transfer model, but if not, if you're just coming on board as a fresh postgraduate student, you may have heard so many stories about what happens in many other universities. And many of us as staff at the Open University of Kenya have taught in all these other universities, and we know the stories there. At the Open University of Kenya, we are changing the story. And we want you, as you come on board with us as we change the story, let us work together to see that our research, supervision, and academic support processes are the kind that you'll also enjoy and appreciate as a student. And so both of us, both the staff, the faculty, the supervisors, the academic mentors, and yourselves as the students have a role to play. So even as we go through this, let us begin appreciating that all research must comply with institutional research ethics, supervision protocols, and observed timelines. As you grow into the system, you will also be introduced through your schools what our supervision model will look like and what we expect of you through that particular model. So make proactive use of academic and student support services and systems that we have in place, so that you ensure that you go through your studies efficiently and effectively. I read a question on the chat, and one student was saying, after so much had been said, and I think it was after the director spoke, and the question was, so if I commit myself, am I able to complete my studies and graduate next year? And quietly in my heart, I said, yes, you are able to complete your studies and actually graduate at the end of next year as a master's student, particularly for the masters, because that should be a 2-year program. And what our greatest dream and anticipation, even as we interact with you, our students, is that if it is a 1-year program, we pray you graduate within 1 year. If it is a 2-year program, our prayer is you graduate within the 2 years. 3 years equally, we hope that you'll graduate within that time. So we are here to walk the journey with you. Play your part, your role, we will play our role, and we'll have a supportive team to walk the journey with you. And what we are hoping and anticipating is that when somebody moves into a university or a learning space, learning institution, at a postgraduate level, you're not like the undergraduate students who probably are experiencing university and college life for the first time. And so there's an element of too much excitement of being at the university. We know we are engaging with people who are ready to learn, who are committed to study, because this is something you must have thought about very critically before even you applied. And so what we anticipate is that you will, these particular programs will not only give you the knowledge that you anticipate to get and the skills you anticipate to get in your area of specialization, but we hope as a university, this particular program that you have enrolled in will prepare you for leadership, innovation, and influence in all the spaces where you interact with different people within your professional space and in the different communities where you work and do the things that you do every day. And therefore, we encourage you to apply your learning and research to address real-world challenges and contribute meaningfully to society. Be active participants as a scholar. Don't be the kind of postgraduate student who comes on board and I expect that the lecturer will come every day in class or just to give you information. You're not an empty slate or an empty tank. You have come on board with so much. In fact, we would even want to learn more from you as we support you through the process. So be that kind of person that you're going to be, create a community. We want to create a community of experts and of learners within our various areas of specialization. So as you walk into this space, be that kind of person whom you're telling yourself, after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, I want to have command in my area of specialization. I want people to reckon with me in my area of specialization, at my place of work, in the world of academics, when you attend a workshop, when you attend a conference. That is the world we want to introduce you to and grow you into as a young academic, as a young scholar. So let us walk this journey together, play your part, and we shall help you do that. Of course, we do appreciate and acknowledge that we are growing our systems at OUK, but one thing you're going to learn about the OUK team is that we are a fast-moving society, a fast-moving group of people, very dynamic, very easy, flexible, and to adopt. So let us build this together and ensure that you have the best possible experience. And as I sum this up, I know we are tired. We'd like to go and rest. We are all been doing all these things during the day. Your postgraduate journey will be demanding. That you can be sure. We have gone through these journeys. All your facilitators can attest to that. All the people who have spoken to you today can attest to that. Postgraduate studies are not easy. But again, depending on how you take these studies, they can be very transformative. The studies that can move you from one level to another and create a change in your life and in those of those who live around you. So while the university is actually committed to supporting your success, your progress ultimately depends on your commitment and discipline. So work around commitment and discipline as you go through your studies. And once again, as I now formally welcome you to the Open University and close this particular session, I was told to do that. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Elijah Omwenga, the management of the university, we welcome you again at the Open University of Kenya and wish you a productive, fulfilling, and productive postgraduate experience. Thank you so much. And Registrar, I think that is where I want to end for today. I'm very sure we'll be interacting more often when we have the opportunities, and we'll get to talk even more and more and more. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless OUK. Have a great evening. Bye.
Wow, wow. Are you able to see the reactions, Prof?
Yes, I'm able to see that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I now pray that the reactions will also resonate with the way they'll take up their studies as we support them. Thank you so much.
True. Thank you so much, DVC, for those nice words of wisdom. And what else do we expect from a professor other than that? So we appreciate, and I'm sure our students are happy, only that we have not given them a chance, but we can see from the reactions that they have learned a thing or two, which is very appreciated. So we have come to the end of this session, but before we close with a word of prayer, I really want to thank everyone who is here, everyone who has been here, those who have asked questions, those who have answered. Our OUK team, you're just wonderful. We have done so much. Our presenters of the day, the information was quite clear, and I believe somebody has rated us somewhere on the chat and said exceeded expectation. And those are the words we want to hear. We will continue working to exceed, and where we have areas of improvement, again, we don't shy away. We'll take them and improve. So thank you so much. Have a good evening, and let me have a volunteer to close for us with a word of prayer. Who is willing to close for us? It is the prayer between us and eating our supper, those who have not eaten while we were talking.
Yeah, before the volunteer prays.
And you have volunteered, continue.
Before the volunteer prays, among the students, I want to read for them a verse. It's actually the blueprint of the OUK in terms of religiosity. In the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2 to 3 says, write down your vision so that those who read can run with it. So as an individual, write down your vision for progression, write down your vision for generations, so that when generation read your vision, as a graduate of OUK, they will be impacted and experience transformation and influence. Can we have a volunteer from among the students pray for us?
I can see a hand. Hannington, you want to pray for us? Hannington, are you able to unmute? Maybe not. Help me unmute Hannington.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, absolutely. I want to end with a prayer.
Okay, thank you for that. Go on.
Okay, we are praying. We thank you, Lord, for this evening, for giving us opportunity so that we can learn and unlearn, and also we can get confidence as we start this journey. Lord, I will pray that you may give us knowledge, power, wisdom, and understanding. Above all, prepare us for this journey. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. The next time we are meeting, the next time we are meeting is on Thursday. We are skipping tomorrow so that we can internalize what we've done today. So have a good evening. And remember to tell anyone you come across about OUK. We still have room for more people. So remember that friend, that relative, and tell them to apply. We'll process the application, then they can join you on Thursday. Thank you and have a good night.